Hi, my name is Patricia Baker, and I would really like to study at TWU because it has a great hands-on SLP grad school, and it also has certificate programs in multicultural and bilingual studies, which I really love because this helps give underserved communities more access to SLP services when they didn't before. And so these programs would be immensely helpful in educating families and spreading awareness about SLP services. And similarly, when I was growing up, my mom started going back to college and was learning English at the time, and so we would proofread her papers together. We work on her grammar and math, and so when she would write her papers in English, she would be thinking in Spanish, and so even though the paper is in English, like structurally her sentences were in Spanish, which was really interesting to see because there was a lot of combination words, like sets that would be reversed, like her adjectives and nouns would be flopped, like flip-flopped. And phonologically speaking, many Spanish speakers sometimes have trouble with certain English phonemes because they're not common in their native tongue. For example, the y or the ng sounds. So seeing these patterns growing up may be helpful in the future when working with a bilingual SLP client. And if I were able to study in these certificate programs, I think it would be really helpful in differentiating between language differences and actual speech delay or disorder. And similarly, when working in the pharmacy, we work with a lot of people of different cultures and nationalities, and so we've seen a lot of things. And there's not a lot that really surprises us anymore. But we do administer a lot of vaccines, and so there is a lot of patient education that goes on, especially with vaccine schedules and contraindications about whether to get this vaccine or to wait, or recommended vaccines based on age or therapeutic gaps. And this is kind of goes the same for medication regimens, where we go over with the patient why they're taking the medication, so when they go home they understand why they're taking it, and so they're more likely to continue with the treatment regimen, so that they can feel better and stay healthy. And so these experiences may help me in SLP when working with clients during treatment sessions, and when explaining homework activities. And for special abilities, I would like to think that I'm tenacious and persistent in trying to understand things, and if I don't at first, I'll keep trying to understand until I do. And I love learning, and but in my first few years of college, I was working through some depression, and it was really difficult to keep up with work and school. And looking back, it's kind of surreal to look at my grades and to think that I let them slip so far. But I've learned a lot about balancing work and school and seeking help when you need it. And knowing what I know now, being able to go to school is such a privilege, and I've been so fortunate to be able to take all these classes and figure out what I want to do. And if I was able to go to TWU, I would make the most out of my classes. But thank you for reviewing my application.